Okay, back to making this table flat. So I went to get my level, so I can see what I'm working with here. So a little bit of a twist to it. Go this direction. See how high it is. It's high in the middle here. You go this way. It's not too bad. So that means these corners are low. This one and this one are low. This is all got to be cut down to get this up. It's pretty flat from in the end. The problem is this stuff's bent down low over here is our problem. Alright, so I'm going to see if I can run a file across here and need a little help without doing too much damage. So let's get an idea what we're looking with here. So we know it's high in the middle. Let's see what we can get. Okay. Look at our witness marks. You can definitely see there's a high spot right here, which is my problem with making me so I can grind flat. I'm not showing that high spot in the middle. And you can see over here, you get the machine mark over here also. So that's where our problems are. It's right here. When you're grinding, you're only grinding this little square right in here usually when you're trying to get stuff flat. So these things that are uneven like this is what we're going to try to fix. So I'm going to use this one here, which has our most control. Let's see if we can come up with something that looks halfway decent. As expected, it ain't doing squat. Too fine of a finish. Doesn't do anything. This one's pretty aggressive and sharp. It does the most. The problem is limited access to using it. Alright, so now you can see what we're looking at. See a little high spot through here, which is going to help me on that part because this is definitely high in here on my little short level here. It's getting better. You see it's still got a gap under it. Here it's pretty good. So I need to concentrate on doing this filing right through here. It doesn't matter if the rest of the table is flat, just that has to be flat. What really needs to be done, this thing needs to be machined from one end to the other. Like this one was originally one big cut all the way across. Limiting all these separate cuts. See, the cutter had this much of a swath that was cut, and so that's why it's got this big high spot in the middle. The machine was angle cut like this when they're going across, which means their head wasn't square, it was cocked like that. So you go across, it leaves a unflat surface. Alright, I'm going to work on this a little bit. We'll be back. Okay. See, I'm going across here, getting this thing flattened out. You can see the high spot there, through here. This whole area is here is high. This area through here is high. You can see the big heavy machine marks there just in the cutter. You can see how this is pretty much all low through here. We're developing a high spot right here though. So that's how that goes. So I'm using my rough file here that has a little bit of bow to it. If you push real hard in the middle, it'll cut in the middle as well as the sides to kind of equalize it. You're forcing it to be flat. This one here is fairly flat. I've been using it a lot. I go back and forth with all these different angles pushing on it. A lot of pressure in the middle. And like over here, it's a real thin edge, but when I'm filing like this, I'm pushing over here, so it's not really cutting anything in here, which is what we don't want to see. You know, we want to see it's not cutting. That's what you're after. That means you're getting it flat. So you get all these different angles. I'm not really getting any real high spots, and I'm feeling anymore. Feels pretty consistent, which means you're getting fairly flat. Usually that's what that means. Get a noise changing over the cutter marks or cut marks over there. Key is to keep the file moving. Lots of different angles. If you come back with this one, we can concentrate on getting more areas here where it's hot or heavy, up in the air a little bit. So I'm going to get my big ass file. We know these aren't flat, but I also might need to cut a lot right here and right here. We're going to get that with the big file. I'm also going to push in the middle to make more pressure here. So let's get a quick idea of what's happening by doing that. I can see by the texture that I'm cutting a lot right here. A little bit all through here. Definitely cutting through here. It's a high spot. Not seeing much back in here, which is good. This is definitely grinding a lot over here. I don't want to see. It's tearing it up pretty good. So one way of fixing that is to dull it out. And dull it out. See, I'm grinding my file a little bit there. Digging in over here. Not as bad. Okay. You know what your files are bad and what they're good at, you can compensate a lot. sure how much damage I did on this other end, but I'm sure I've done some. So when I'm filing this thing on here, this tip over here is not making grind marks over here. So that means I'm not digging it. See, over here I was digging it real heavy. So I'm not doing that. So I'm going back and forth, pushing on the center. It's not cutting here, and I don't see it cutting over here on this thin edge. So that means most of the cutting is in the high spot in the middle, where I want it to be cutting. Now over here, this is dug in deep. I don't know if that was high there or I dug in. I think I dug in, but I'm not sure. When I want to file across this way, I'm not cutting here, so it's definitely lower than it was. This high spot here needs to be cut in a little bit. So I'm going to switch over to a finer file and see if I get a different pattern going. This is a pretty rough finish, obviously. This one will leave a lot finer finish with that, and this one will be a super fine finish. So it's just a matter of going back and forth as you're doing this, trying to get an idea where you're at. It's actually really, really hard to file something flat. It's a lot of experience. Kind of a big turd in there somewhere. I can feel it going back and forth. You want to be looking at this thin edge over here, make sure you're not cutting it, not cutting there. And I'm not really seeing too much cutting. It's barely hitting on it, which is a good thing. There's definitely a big piece of something going back and forth. You can hear it chunking into the filing. When you file, you push down hard going this way, not coming back. You should try not to anyway. Cutting right here in the high spot. There. You hear all those high spots when you start over here again. You just look in your grit as you're going across your cut patterns. So the screw is somewhere you're hitting that steel screw. When you get over here, it's nice and smooth, it's quiet. You get over here and hear it cutting. So it's cutting this area here. A lot of it's that screw head sticking up. But you can see the different file marks, how they're going this way, that way, everywhere. Alright, we'll try this a bit more. We'll be back.